Hello, and welcome to the Team Endurance Racing YouTube channel. This is Klaus speaking, and I'm one of the co-founders of this racing team. Furthermore, I have been one of the guys behind this year's mod in the GTR24h race, and for this tutorial I'd like to tell a little bit about how we have updated the engine and the engine wear for the event. For this year, the way the engines wear have been changed quite a bit, so you can either gain or lose quite a lot of performance on how you use the engine. It is this performance I would like to help you gain with this tutorial. To optimize the performance for the cars, we will have to look at the engine files for each car. You do that by opening up the engine file, find them in the GTR2 folder, and just open them in a simple text editor. I've used Notepad++, and so you have them here. I've just opened up all the files. For the information you can gain from this file, I've made a little spreadsheet, and after that I have been driving a few laps around the Le Mans track, locked the files in Motec. Just have a look here. I just select the Aston Martin car, which is what I'm going to focus on now. And for that info, I'm just going to open up two files, which will look for further investigation. What you can see in the engine files here is you have the lifetime engine RPM. This is the function of the values that we're going to focus on. The lifetime engine RPM is the place where the engine has average lifetime. So we have the lifetime average here, 93,600 seconds, which should equal out to 26 hours. When you rev the engine to 6006 RPM, every second of driving equals 1 second of wear. The second number, 554, is the number where the range of the engine is halved. So if you rev the car to 6,560, the engine will last for 13 hours. You can see that in the spreadsheet here. The 90% RPM is at the peak point of the 90% power of the engine. The other value, the range where life is halved, 554, is taken where the engine delivers 95% of its maximum horsepower. For the Aston Martin car, this is at 503.1 brake horsepower, compared to the maximum horsepower of the engine of 529. So, as you can see, even though you rev over the 90% power of the engine to 95% of this power, there's still quite a lot of horsepower to be gained by revving the car further. This can also be seen here as we have the RPM half value to 6,560 compared to the maximum RPM of the engine where it delivers the maximum power. The percentage of the RPM is just a percentage of where the RPM is compared to the maximum RPM. So you know that you have lost 5% of its power by revving it to 6,560. But as you can see, you're still about 50% short of the maximum RPM. So basically this means that to gain the last 5% horsepower, you need to rev the engine 15% higher. So to choose which car you want to drive for the event, it's a matter of how you want to drive the car in the race. Do you want to save a lot of engine power at some stages of the race and then give quite a lot of boost at some places, or do you want to drive at the maximum available power for the engine for the longest time possible? That's another variable for this year's race. This is one thing we have tried to put in to get a little bit more strategic thinking into the race. So now we know a little bit about the engine and what kind of RPM we want to have on the engine. So now we can go to our log files in Motec, and you can see my lap here of 3 minutes 25.3 seconds. This is set with the engine at full boost. So you can see here the average engine RPM is 7,055. And as you can see, it is quite a lot higher than what the range where the engine power is. Because of that, the engine will now not last the full race, because it simply wears quicker than what is possible for it. So for the race itself, I've driven the other lap, put in the engine at a different mode, put it into, let's say, full racing mode. The engine RPM is quite a lot lower. You can see the average number has now dropped quite a bit. You can just use the overlay here to see that the engine overall runs quite a lot lower than before. And because of that, the engine is now able to last the full distance of the race. So from what I have learned so far during the beta test, is that if you have the average engine somewhere between the average lifetime and the engine where life is halved, it's not such a big deal to get the engine to last. You see from 6,560 to 6,388, you have, what's that, 180 RPM left, which does not sound of more, it sounds of a lot, but it is enough for the engine to be saved during a lot of hours, and you should be able to do the entire race. Now the strategic point of it is that if you run it at this RPM, you might be able to run that at the same RPM, the same way of driving for the entire race. If you want to save the engine a little bit more, so you can use the engine at the higher revs at some stages of the race, you can go lower, then save some engine life. So instead of having this point where it average a little bit more than 1 second per race time in the wear, you can set it lower, so you'll have it so you can have some room in the engine life to boost in several spots of the race. The second graph here is just a little equation I've made to see what kind of RPM the engine has and what gear. As it tends to be in 5th and 6th gear, you use the most engine life, because you stay in those gears the longest. As you can see, you have out of 1 to 6 range, I think it is, where you just go quickly for the gears, and then you can come into 5th and 6th gear where you really drive in the gears, and when that's the places where you actually just wear the engine really. So that's the thing you need to decide on when you do your setup for the car. And that's pretty much it. If you have any more questions, feel free to pop in on our TeamSpeak channel, which is stated here in the bottom. It's ts.ggtl enginewear.dk. Most of the time there are one or two guys in there which should be able to help you if you have any kind of issues with the car, the mod, the game, or if you just want to chat around. Also, don't forget to have a look at our site, enginewear.dk, to get some news about the team, tests, testing results, updates for the coming event, and all kinds of funny facts about the team members. So, bye for now, and have fun, and I'll see you on track.